Now that we're underway, I can't think of a better way to begin our tour than with the symbol of the Disney MGM studios. Look high up in the sky toward the front left-hand side of the shuttle. You'll see our award-winning Earful Tower. This water tank is based on one Walt Disney had built in his Burbank studios back in 1939. Ours stands a lucky 13 stories tall and is topped off with a huge set of Mickey Mouse ears. Each ear weighs 5,000 pounds. And it's 28.5 in diameter, translates to a half size of 342 3/8. Well, you're probably wondering why in the world I know the half size of a water tower. Well, that's because for past holiday seasons we topped off with a big red and white stocking cap. Now, a quick bit of trivia about our water tower: there is not a single drop of water in it. It's all just for show. But what's not all just for show is our studios itself is a high-tech working production center which features sound stages, outdoor sets, state-of-the-art editing facilities, recording studios, and everything else needed to produce film, television, and even radio shows. Usually there's a number of productions going on in our studios, and today is no exception to the rule. In our Backlot area, we have a team all the way from Hollywood, California here experimenting with some new special effects. And Miguel is in contact with our production coordinator, and he'll let us know whether we can go in or not later on. Now, up ahead of the first of many props you're going to see along today's route, what we have here are two replicas of the P-40 airplane used in the Touchstone hit film Pearl Harbor. These are 2 of 16 planes built to be used in the film. They were molded from a real P-40 Warhawk airplane out of fiberglass covering a steel frame. The propellers are made out of wood and were spun with a hydraulic motor inside. It sat on the runways and in front of hangars appearing to be ready for takeoff. Now, if you've seen Pearl Harbor, you're thinking, wait a minute, there are way more than 16 planes in that film. Well, there were, but the rest were created using CGI, computer-generated images. There were only 12 actual planes at Earful Tower. Now, that's the closest and best view you're going to get of it anywhere in the park, so you might want to take advantage of that, because it is a true masterpiece. Now, take your pictures quick, because we are heading indoors to the glamorous world of creative costuming. In costuming, the whole process begins with a designer's sketch. And this is where Miguel works on his days off. Now take a look on the far walls on either side. You're going to see some examples of our designer's art. Then our talented team of seamstresses and tailors go to work to turn those designs into finished products worn by our performers. As we continue your creative costuming, you're going out to your left-hand side. You see some special display cases featuring original costumes from Sweet Home, Alabama, Disney's The Rookie, and Sheila's Blockbuster Thriller Sign, some period costumes from Tuck Everlasting, and some costumes worn by Miguel and myself in the Santa Claus 2. Just kidding. Those are some costumes that some of the elves wore, and the head elf and elves wore for Santa Claus 2. Our team of over 250 skilled professionals use over 1.5 million yards of fabric every year to create over 25,000 costumes. All this activity makes this the world's largest working wardrobe. And to get an idea of how large our closets are, we host over 3 million costumes. Mickey Mouse alone has over 175. We're now into our Scenic and Crypt department. You'll notice some rooms on your left-hand side that are used by production companies borrowing our studios area. And on our right-hand side is our black-white painting studio. Here we painted murals for such rides as the Rocket Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith and a Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger stayed over at the Magic Kingdom. And this large glass room on your left-hand side is our Scenic shop where creative artists and craft people build and maintain sets to be used on location, on sound stages, and all over our resort area. Here they've built sets for Live with Regis and Kelly, Live with Regis and Kathy Lee, the Rosie O'Donnell Show, the Wheel for Wheel of Fortune, and even some WCW World Championship Wrestling sets. Now the best part about Moose is you can be taken to so many different places, from a dangerous canyon to the house next door to the bottom of the ocean. Right now we're entering our backlot area where we can take you to any of those places I just mentioned. For instance, if we were shooting an underwater sea adventure, we'd head for this green tank coming up on your left-hand side, the one behind Santa Claus and Mickey shaking hands. That houses our underwater special effects camera tank. It resembles a large swimming pool, but the bottom is made up to look like the ocean floor. This provides a safer, more controllable environment than shooting in nature. One of the last things filmed there were scenes from America's Most Wanted episodes, and before that, all the underwater nightmare scenes for a house on Haunted Hill back in 1999 were filmed right there. Now you're going to see some very unusual houses. Take a look up to your right through our open house. And it truly is an open house because there are no insides or backs to any of the homes here on Residential Street. They're all facades or false fronts. They're used just for exterior footage, and because so many scripts call for so many different neighborhoods, each one of the homes here represents a different style of American architecture. Take a look over here at number 242, the second brown house on your right, covered in red lights. That was used by Jim Varney when he was here filming Ernest Saves Christmas. This home was used for our exterior shots of Burns' house. By the way, that happens to be the very first full-length feature film shot here in our studios back in 1988. That was 1 year before the park opened to the public in 1989. And on your left-hand side, we have one of our spectacle of light technicians up there setting up the lights. And I'll tell you a little bit more about spectacle lights in a minute. Now, you want to take a look on your left-hand side of the beige Hawaiian one-story house covered in yellow light. This is home for 7 annual award-winning seasons of the Golden Girls. From the Blanche, Dorothy, Sophia, and Rose. The exterior shots for the Golden Girls is filmed right here and edited together with the interior footage shot on the soundstage in California. Now you may wonder what's going on with all these lights around here. Well, we're set up for our Osborne family spectacle of lights. Now that is not the Osbornes of England, but the Osbornes of Arkansas. There's a very wealthy man by the name of Jennings Osborne, whose daughter Breezy wished one year to have her entire house covered in Christmas lights. Well, Mr. Osborne loved this so much that he bought the homes of his neighbors on either side and set them all up with Christmas lights. This caused such a traffic jam down in Little Rock, Arkansas, that they made him take it all down. He fought it all the way to the Supreme Court. They denied him. Then the Disney company approached Mr. Jennings, asked him if he wanted to come set up his lights on our residential street. He said yes, and every year since then we've had our Osborne family spectacle of lights. Now the Osbornes actually visited us last night to check out the cool lights, and they actually stopped and said hi to most of us that were standing on the street. If you want to see the Osborne family spectacle of lights, come tonight at 6 o'clock, and they'll let people walk down the street all the way through our load and unload area to check out the cool lights. We started out with 1 million lights 7 years ago, and now we're up to 5 million. So you want to come see this, it's quite spectacular. And they're actually giving out a free gift to everybody. Some cool glasses that actually, when you look at the lights, you'll see little angels everywhere. So make sure you get your free gift. Those are for you to take home, and they work not just on the lights here, but also your lights at home. And at the moon, but please don't drive with them on, because you can crash and hurt yourself. It does actually say that on the lights. Now while we're stopped here, we're waiting. As we go around this corner, I'd like to wave to people in the ladder halves of the shuttle. Hi, folks. I really don't get to see you very often. Well, I get to see the top of your head, but that's about it. So I'd like to wave to you. Thank you for keeping up. Now, one of the more popular things in movies today are action scenes. You may wonder what happens to all those large props after they're shot at, chased, and blown apart. A lot of them end up in what's called a boneyard. Our large studios have them where oversized props are stored until they're needed for more footage. Let me tell you about some of the stuff we have in here. Those 3 totem heads are from the 13th Warriors Viking era set starring Antonio Banderas. The spaceship on the corner is from My Favorite Martian starring Christopher Lloyd. The Sandskip and the Snow Speeder are from the original Star Wars trilogy. The Sandskip is from Return of the Jedi, and the Snow Speeder is from The Empire Strikes Back. The miniature cattle car and Jeep are from Mighty Joe Young. And most of the military vehicles you see here were used in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Not that plane, that was actually used in our epic stunt spectacular. Take a look at this tank. It has rubber treads instead of steel ones. This saved on wear and tear, and the actors that had to be thrown on top of them take out their take. And you'll notice it's shaped a little bit funny. That's so that actors can roll under it without actually getting hurt. These 2 mining cars are from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. This yellow futuristic forklift is from Bicentennial Man starring Robin Williams. The next 5 vehicles are all from the Oscar award-winning film Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now you look, this large mechanical monstrosity is Judge Doom's dipmobile that terrorized Toontown. This Pacific Electric Charlie is actually an LA City bus. If you look, the steel wheels are fiberglass covers that fit over the radial tires. These 3 blue Plymouths are 3 of 7 cars used to show different stages of destruction of the same vehicle. Things are often shot out of sequence, so we needed a car for each stage. This little Geo is Big Trouble starring Tim Allen. The yellow helicopter is from Ellen's Energy Adventure, now showing at Epcot's Universe of Energy. The blue cockpit is from Blue Thunder. The 2 vintage planes are from the Rocketeer. The black speedboat is from the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage. Now, Blackjack Savage may have had 100 lives, but he only survived 3 episodes. The Fleet Trainer and the Space Pod are from Starship Troopers. The big walnut-shaped pod in the corner is Max from Flight of the Navigator. Now, if you look across the canal, you'll see a great backstage view of our residential street. You'll notice all the architectural detail like the shingles and the siding and just out of camera range. We only built with the camera behind the scenes. This is a little Hollywood strip called saving a lot of money. Now, up ahead is a large standing set where we've been filming lots of TV specials and commercials. And from the traffic around here, it looks like they are letting groups in. So we're going to jump in real quick and take a look around. And it is a live set, so if they do need us to leave, we have to leave in a hurry. So everybody has to remain seated at all times while we are in here. Also, we're going to stay on a wooden bridge and down a little bit bumpy. So if you have any loose items, you might want to grab a hold of them right now, like cameras, purses, your favorite child. This Now you can't see it, but right above us is a special platform for our production so you can mount the camera and shoot down into our canyon. This tape fire truck is one part of our boneyard. We needed it for the scene, so we had to move it into here. Now, as you can see, there's no way to drive into the ravine. We had to hoist it up with the crane, lift it over the wall, and set it into place for this shot. Also, above us is a special rain effect. We can't sit around waiting for Mother Nature to do her thing. Kind of funny on the backlot, and that's when the director says action. It looks like we're doing a little demonstration of that rain. This is our popular rain. Since there was high power water last year, so we'll keep the water in the outlet sink house and the rainwater gas will look like it's falling. Guys, I'm going to go for a guest out here. I'm going to need you to cut the feet so we can get out of your way, guys. Please cut it, okay? First, just to make it easy, and we'll do the activity as soon as possible.
Not good.
It's covered with wire mesh. And the wire mesh is covered with a layer of colored concrete, which is then hand carved to look like natural rock formation. There are little yellow pipes that run throughout our set that carries all the gas for all the fires and explosions on the large so has to carry all the water. And the plant was started with 3 large tanks at the top of the canyon, only to send 70,000 gallons of water thundering down the canyon or the helpless little shuttle. To add extra action, some of that water is flowing to the air cannon. These cannons are so powerful that if you think one of New York City, you put a basketball in it, you can shoot that basketball up and over the Empire State Building with real despair. The Earth would be about 1 hydraulic station about this. We were so strong to register about a 5.1 on the Richter scale. Now, if we had turned it up all the way, we could have tossed a small family car up over the railing into the bottom of the canyon. This is all done in the heart of our Hollywood special effects team. The one looks like an out-of-control catastrophe. It was actually a safe computerized sequence of events. And we can really set in about 3.5 minutes. And if you take a look over there, you'll see that's just enough time for our next shuttle load of victims. Our visitors. And so from the Canyons of California, we're going to head off to the streets of New York. Sit back, relax. We'll be there in record time. Take a look up to your right-hand side. This plane isn't part of our boneyard. It's Walt Disney's plane, the personal plane, the 234 Mickey Mouse. Now, as we pass these people up here, go ahead and wave and smile, nod, don't give anything away, and act dry.
You always make those corners, like sit down there and loose on big trouble. You know, look out so you can see over the elephant ends here, Becky.
Now, people often ask why we keep all this stuff out here in our boneyard. Well, that's because it's a lot cheaper just to refurbish something that's already sitting there than to try and build something from scratch. As we turn this corner, take a look at this tall building up here. You're going to see the steel structure that keeps our backlot standing. This was all built with the Florida weather in mind, so it can withstand winds up to 100 miles per hour. Now, that's pretty amazing considering there's not a real brick in any of these buildings. They're all facades, much like the homes on Residential Street. And if you're going to be here for the Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights tonight, you want to be out by that first blue barricade. Now get your cameras ready. There's a great photo opportunity coming up. Take a look through the Washington Square Arch as you pass it. And what you're going to see is a big mistletoe. And then right behind that, the skyline of New York City, right here in Orlando. This is done through an old movie trick called forced perspective. While the real Empire State Building stands over 100 stories tall, ours is just over 4. We're now coming to our final stop, which is going to bring you to the American Film Institute Showcase. Here they're featuring a display on villains, movie characters, the